trading the news and understanding the impact. Now, we are predominantly technical based traders. So the key here is understanding which days and what time high impact news announcements come out so they do not affect our current trades or our trading decisions. Now, as technical traders, we focus on the charts. This does not mean that we ignore the timing and the release of certain data. Easiest way to stay on top of all key major news releases is forexfactory.com. When you open this site, click on calendar and it will bring up a list of high impact or news announcements that are out over the duration of the week. Now, there is a way of filtering the positions. In the top right corner on Forex Factory, you will see a filter button. I remove the yellow and the amber news announcements, leaving me with red indicating high impact and grey, which also indicates bank holidays and other public days. Now, it's always good to have and to understand what economies are currently having bank holidays and so on. Now, what we must remember, let's say there's a UK or an English bank holiday on Monday. Now, pound as a currency is still traded globally. It just means on the European Open, there'll be less impact from the guys in the UK that are trading the pound this side of the water. Same as when there's American bank holiday. US as a currency is still traded globally. It's just there's less impact on the US Open at lunchtime. So another key slide for you guys to save. Now, this is pretty much the foundations, the basics. It doesn't happen every single time. For an example, interest rates up, currency up. Employment down, currency down. GDP, high figures, currency up, and so on. So it's always good to take this into consideration. But as I said, guys, we are predominantly technical based traders. So we just need to know when these news announcements are out and what day, what time, and what sort of impact we may see. Because if we're in a position where we're currently running profit and it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon and at 1:30 p.m. there's 4 high impact news announcements on one of the currencies you are trading, you may want to think about potentially banking that trade. I'm currently in profit. Why would I want to give any away? And it's vice versa. If you're at a position where you're break even or you're currently negative, me personally, I would have let the news roll out for the simple fact it may be positive to the direction that I'm trading in. But you don't want to get caught up in trying to understand and break down the impact and which each individual announcement means. We're technical based traders. We just need to be aware of what goes on so it does not affect our current trade. So this is what Forex Factory will look like. As I said, there is a filter button, so you can just worry about red, high impact, and also grey, which shows bank holiday. Now, it's pretty much based in a traffic light system. Of course, red is high impact, orange is medium impact, and yellow is low impact. We just want to focus on the red, high impact news announcements. Trading the news. Big moves often happen when the forecast is very different to the actual. Green means the actual was more positive for the forecast. Red means the actual was negative than the forecast. Again, I don't want you worrying too much about the individual pricings or percentages. We just want to know if it's good or bad for the currency that we are trading. There is a few key news announcements that we pay special attention to. The first being non-farm payroll, which is the first Friday of every month. This is when the US bring out employment figures and can send the market nuts. So yes, we would want to manage our positions. Me personally, I manage everything before non-farm payroll. Other key news announcements, other than ones that I'm sure you're aware of as for seeing them in the news daily, like Brexit, Parliament votes, and so on, is also FOMC, ECB, course, NFP. When somebody is speaking, Draghi, Carney, interest rate hikes, and there is a few others. If we identify one of these on Forex Factory, we will need to manage our positions. The first and last weeks of the month contain the greatest amount of news data releases. What you want to do is scroll down on your Forex Factory, highlight all of the key news announcements, and perhaps just take a note or have Forex Factory page open throughout the times you are trading. I would definitely look at it first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. The reason I would look at it last thing in the evening is if you're like me here in the UK, you'll see that there's Aussie or Kiwi news out sometimes at 2 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. Now, majority of the time we're not awake or we're not trading at this time. So what we may want to do, if we're heavily in profit on a position, we may want to bring our stop loss to break even to the same point we entered to eliminate any risk. Meaning that when you go to sleep, you know the worst case scenario for your live trade is that you are stopped out at break even. So first thing in the morning to look throughout the day, and last thing in the evening just to make sure that there's no Australasian news coming out in the middle of the night. So trading the news affects intraday short-term trading. End of day positions are less affected. And that's the reason why we trade again, I've mentioned this before, why we trade our end of day strategy after 10 p.m. Because after 10 p.m. is when the new daily bar is formed. So you can take that into consideration. Everything that's gone on during that day, it's now a closed bar. We use that bar to potentially place an order, and we use the new current bar to give us a bit of room to place our order either side of the previous. Of course, as a new bar opens up just after 10 p.m., it has minimal activity, so it's usually very, very small. So be aware of a currency's news release and avoid trading 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after the news. This is, of course, for intraday traders. Never trade the news. As I suggested, we are technical-based traders. Stick to your plan, stick to the rules, and look to profit from proven strategies that use a technical approach in today's market.